Like You is the name of the podcast, y'all. I am your host, Timothy Hampton. I'd like to thank some of our new supporters. Mr. Bentley, thank you very much. Janet F. and Sante Will, thank you. We appreciate the support. It really means a lot. Remember, like and subscribe. Ring that bell right now, because the momentum is tremendous. The movement is growing, and the time has come to free ourselves. Let's get started. The title of today's podcast, The Way Forward, Capturing Hearts and Minds. American history really speaks for itself in relation to the tyranny of the majority. It fills volume after volume with atrocities committed against humanity to ensure total domination. The genocide of Native Americans, for example, and the stealing of their land, or the chattel enslavement of Africans with no intention of ever granting freedom. No method was too brutal, no act was too cruel, too evil, or too perverse. These are not secrets.
You know what I'm saying?
In fact, some Americans still swell with pride over the repugnant actions of our ancestors.
New word.
Repugnant. Repugnant is an adjective. In this instance, repugnant means extremely distasteful, unacceptable, objectionable, or offensive. Repugnant.
And now the legacy of all that toxic energy has begun to evolve and is once again changing the landscape of American life. However, in order for this momentum to have any true effect, it has to focus on the hearts and minds of Americans. We have to confront the issue where it lives, on our least understood frontiers, the heart and the mind.
Ciliano.
According to the Pew Research Center and the Kaiser Family Foundation, 60% of the American population identifies themselves as white or Caucasian. According to the CIA, the number is as high as 72%. Now, those are pretty high numbers. That's a solid majority, which means a great deal to the powers that be.
Why?
It means they can do whatever they want, because the majority controls everything. Our education, our legal situation, even sanitation. But what does that mean for the rest of us? Those who are not members of the majority. Thus far, we could think of America's racial progress in terms of Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. During the Civil Rights era, our opposite reaction, nonviolence, peaceful submission in the face of violence, indignity, and brutality. A cue taken from Gandhi and his campaigns against the British during the 1930s. Now, to date, the opposite reaction has seen some success in terms of changing policies, reshaping laws, and restructuring institutions. And this is historic progress.
Yes, sir.
The legislature has responded. The spirit and the letter of the law have been adjusted. Institutions have been reformed. However, the brutality, the cruelty, the evil, and the perversions of justice the perversions of religion and education have simply continued, because many hearts and minds are still snarled by racism and white supremacy. We haven't addressed the way people think and how people feel, and the complexity of the racial hierarchy and the tyranny of the majority mean that individuals and groups can still do whatever it takes to maintain the status quo, both inside and outside the spirit and the letter of the law. That means the brutal, the cruel, and the evil, the perverse, are included.
What's wrong with you?
This is what causes systemic and endemic racism. These days, it's all about finding ways to hurt people based on race with plausible deniability, all while clinging to the sickness of racism and white supremacy. In the name of the majority, Americans have erected racist barriers to human progress for centuries, successfully attacking and dismantling historically racist laws, policies, and institutions are major accomplishments.
Okay.
But these are only symptoms of the larger sickness. Racist policies, laws, and institutions are simply vehicles for the expression of white supremacy. We need to go to the source. Racism and white supremacy live in the hearts and minds of our people. If we cannot change the way people feel or the way people think, they will continue to react emotionally based on the wrong information. As an advanced society, we can do better. But if you're sitting there waiting for me to provide a bold new method for winning hearts and minds, I will happily refer you to the powers that be. They knew how to pit us against each other. Maybe they can figure out a way to bring us back together. And that is our podcast for today. We are people like you. I am your host, Timothy Hampton. We had music from Q Tracks, Freak Van Workham, but we featured beats from Sully Rain today. I'd like to thank Toy Box Studios for the artwork, graphic design, and digital enhancements. We see you out there, Toy Box. We see you all our new supporters. Thank you, Mr. Bentley, Janet F., Sante Will. Thanks to all of you whom I could not name. Check out that House of Champ playlist on the People Like You channel. Take a look at the other side of this coin. And check out our new children's ebook series, Poverty Bear. You can get it on Amazon. It's a message to children 4 and up about what it means to be poor. New content on a regular basis. So like, subscribe, please comment, be a part of the conversation, and smash that bell icon right now. People Like You is a Flashover Media production, and we will see you all next time.